Another way we can utilize multiple queue lists is to use a queue list as an effect. For this example, we're going to turn our second queue list into a chase. To do that, we want to say queue2/1 through 3, hang, so I'll press follow hang twice, or I could press shift delay delay, 1, enter, and I want this queue list to loop, so I'm going to say Q3 link to Q1. Note that my command line assumes I'm still talking about queue list 2, since that's what I did in the previous command. All right, now that we have a 3 queue list that will loop, we need to assign that to one of our queues in our main list. We're going to say Q1/102 execute, which is the soft key, 2/1, and you'll note that the command line assumes we want Q here. Enter. And then we're going to say Q1/104 execute 2/0, enter, which will get us out of the second queue list. Let's go ahead and load Q101 onto our master fader pair. Q1/101 load, and I'm going to press my go button. So now we're sitting in 101 with Q102 pending, and if you look in the external links column of our PSD, you'll see that 102 is going to execute Q2/1. This is different from a link in that these queues will now be running concurrently instead of independently. Go ahead and press go. What's happening here is we have gone into Q102 on our main list, but Q2/1 and its autofollows are also now running. Although both of these queue lists contain information for these moving lights, the last queue list triggered is going to take ownership of them. In this case, that's the second queue list. I'm going to press go to go into Q102.5. Our live display can also show us channel ownership. So let's go ahead and page down so we can see our moving lights. And if you hold about and press Q, you can see which queue list and queue currently have ownership of any given channel. If we press go one more time into 103, and go into 104, which will trigger our 2/0 queue. Now if we say about queue here, you'll notice that nothing is contributing to those moving lights right now. Because we are in an LTP environment, the last action given to channels 101 through 105 was to go to Q2/0, returning them to their home state. Q104 in list 1 did not have a move instruction to regain ownership of those channels. We can remedy this by adding an assert command on those channels in this queue. To do that, we would say group 5 assert, enter, and you'll see that we get red A's in our live display. We'll need to update that information. So let's go ahead and run that again. We'll go to Q101, enter. And once we're there, we can press go into 102, which will start our second queue list again. You can press go on 102.5. Second queue list continues to run. Go again. And now this time, when we press go into 104, those channels are asserted, so they will go back to their tracked value in the first queue list. In your PSD, you'll see a small a. That means that some channels are asserted in this queue, and you'll see the A's in your live display on those channels. The assert flag causes Q104 to assert the specified channels. This means the tracked values will retake ownership, even though those channels do not contain move instructions in this queue.